What it is, do? It's your boy Crook LDBT 100. We in here, sure. And today we got another reaction video. Now listen, this is from the podcast Pick a Side. Shout out to them, man. They be doing their thing as far as the videos is concerned. They're very informative. So big shout out to them, man. Today, this is can the Baltimore Ravens surround Lamar Jackson with enough help? Now, I just want to take a look at this and just see what they kind of say and kind of get their little hypothesis, and I'm gonna add my 2 cents in. You feel what I'm saying? Before the video starts, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe on the video. Get a video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. We gonna keep it pushing until we hit 700 subs. You know what I'm saying? So without further ado, let's get right into it.
Something that was surprising to me was that the Ravens finished last in the AFC North with an 8-9 record. And looking at these free agents they have, I had to, really peek into it. Calais Campbell, Brandon Williams, Sammy Watkins, Patrick Ricard, Jimmy Smith, Justin Houston, Anthony Everett, Bradley Bozeman, Deshaun Elliott. They have $8 million in cap space. They haven't re-signed Lamar Jackson yet. They have these potential cuts. I mean, do they cut Marcus Peters and save $10 million?
I think they have to.
That's a big time decision, but now
I don't
you do
want
that,
them to, though,
no
bro.
corners outside of
Marcus
Marlon
Peters
Humphrey,
is
especially
tough.
since Jimmy Smith is a free agent. Even him, he's past who he once was. Alejandro Villanueva, who wasn't very good last season, they cut him for $6 million. Tavon Young, $6 million. They could save that. If they make those
I think they
moves,
cut Tavon Young
they
already,
can
though.
free up $22 million in cap space, which would mean they'd have $30 million. Now, can the Ravens surround Lamar Jackson properly? Because this has been a guy that, he's had stacked rosters, Lamar Jackson.
You think so?
14-2 seasons, got upset, even though they were the favorites, underperformed. I mean, he's not the greatest playoff guy, right? But he's always had great rosters. But you know what was funny is how I kind of thought about this the other day and how Lamar Jackson for the past couple to the best. And everybody always said, man, he's holding back Lamar Jackson. Man. And then this season, they went more pass heavy because they had to. And Lamar Jackson had his worst season of his pro career.
He was very good early.
So
in the season.
he has the most weapons he's ever had in Hollywood Brown, Rashad. You love Rashad Bateman. Mark Andrews, all these guys, right? So
all these guys.
It's funny how Greg Roman got all this blame, and now Lamar Jackson has the most weapons he's had. He had his worst season of his career.
He was great.
When they went more pass
He was great early in the season. He got hurt.
Okay.
He had one of the best wins.
Your
He
tone
had one of the
right now
best
needs
regular
to
season
change.
wins against the Chiefs. He had a ridiculous comeback
it
against the
happened 'cause
Colts.
Clyde
Facts.
fumbled.
Yeah, win's a win.
Oh, okay, lucky
Facts.
win for me. But
And I was at that game with the Colts. I was at that game, bro. That was the perfect Lamar Jackson scenario, bro. We in the overtime, and you throw the game-winning pass to Lamar Jackson. Bro, as a matter of fact, I might even put that video in this video. Like, come on now. Like, Lamar went crazy this year. Now, granted, we went through injuries. You feel me? We definitely went through some injuries on the defensive side and the offensive side. But Lamar Jackson... Sorry about that. But Lamar Jackson definitely, held his own, bro. Statistically, it might be the worst season, but he definitely had to gut out some of those wins, bro. Definitely.
I'm saying-
Even still,
Right now.
he still came back.
What I'm saying
went
is that-
toe to toe with Mahomes.
Lamar Jackson in his first 3 seasons, the Ravens went all in to try and win with him.
That 14-2 season, how many points that great defense gave up in the playoffs? 34.
Let me finish my
Was it
spiel.
34?
They went all in their first few seasons. When they gave up all those points, Joe, you know what they did? Let's go get Calais Campbell, one of the best defensive linemen in football. They were great once again. But now they don't have...
He won a playoff game.
Now they don't have that cap
Lost the Bills, God
flexibility.
forbid.
Now they don't have that cap flexibility. How is this team going to look coming off a season where the defense wasn't very good? So Lamar might not have a good defense anymore. Martindale is gone. The offensive line is falling apart. A once elite offensive line.
I don't know, bro. We're going to work some of the people out.
The weapons are there though. And J.K. Dobbins coming back. The most, running back's the most replaceable position in football. Can they surround Lamar Jackson properly? And I'm looking at you because you're the Lamar Jackson guy.
I am.
Can they surround him? That's my biggest question. Can they surround Lamar properly to the point where he doesn't have another down year?
I don't think this past season was a down year if you watched him play.
Okay.
He got hurt later on in the season, which was the reason why the second half of the year when Huntley and all these guys came in, he was playing
Huntley
sparingly.
played fine.
Huntley
played fine.
in very limited action played well.
And as a backup, played fine.
What do you have, 2 starts? 3?
3.
He played good.
In his
3.
very limited starts, like we've seen, like Mike White.
He played.
Like we've seen.
I mean,
Mike
a
White
lot
play
of
really
like
well.
for real, as far as Tyler Huntley, a lot like those 3 to 4 starts that he got, I feel like it got overshadowed by the fact that John Harbaugh went for like 2 of those losses. It was the one against the Steelers. It was the one against the Packers. Those are the 2 that I remember. Huntley played good, bro. He played solid. He's a solid backup. But the thing is, it got overshadowed by when John Harbaugh tried to go for it to win the game because he didn't trust the defense, and then we lost the game, bro. But Tyler Huntley played. No, he come on now. He played solid. He's solid.
Oh, let's relax.
Oh, but if you watch the game,
if
you
you
can tell
relax,
he played well.
I'm not taking 3 games of Tyler Huntley and being like, oh, if Lamar improves as a passer, like that's nonsense.
I mean, I'm not calling Huntley Lamar. I'm just saying, like Lamar. I mean, Huntley played well.
He did play well.
He
I'm happy for him.
He played backup well.
Yeah,
That's good.
100%. I agree.
But answer my question: can they surround Lamar properly? This offseason is big.
This past season was a big step. I think bringing in Rashad Bateman, him and Hollywood Brown could be a great duo. I do think they need another receiver as well. I don't want Willie Snead or Duvernay being my wide receiver 3. Andrews, top 3 tight end in the NFL, so you can't have the excuse there. Type 2, for sure, Kelsey and him. And then the running back position, I know it is the most replaceable, but when you lose your number 1 and your number 2 guy, and you're rolling out Devontae Freeman and Le'Veon Bell, it changes some things.
And Devontae Freeman still had success.
Devontae Freeman was pretty good.
Okay, he was okay. He was so
serviceable.
okay. He was so okay.
He was serviceable.
Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins are ridiculously
9 day,
better.
9 day.
Ridiculously
Of course,
better, and it's
of
going to
course.
change.
I mean, they
the
did
offense,
their
'cause that's how
job,
their
though.
offense
You
is
feel
run.
me?
But I say that in the sense of Lamar Jackson played a huge role in Devontae Freeman playing well, and the fact that Huntley
running
also
quarterbacks
was
are also going to do it. Yes, but I also think they have to bring in at least one more receiver, one of those veteran type slot guys, whether that be a Jarvis Landry if he gets cut, a Jamison Crowder if he gets cut, Juju if he makes the switch from Steelers to the Ravens. I feel like that might not be in his person. I feel like he does like being a Steeler at the end of the day. Or even if they really want to go cheap, someone like an Emmanuel, or I know T.Y. Hilton wants to play again, but regardless, they need to bring in some receiver because it can't be Devin Duvernay as your wide receiver 3. But there's no more excuses of getting Lamar weapons because Hollywood had a breakout year and even had some games where he had some draw problems. He could have even better year. I think Rashad Bateman, who was injured earlier in the season, came into his own as the season progressed, but never really got a true connection with Lamar. I think their only game where they were really on was that game against Miami that they lost on Thursday Night Football. But outside of that, it was hard for them to establish a connection because he wasn't around in training camp, in the start of the season, preseason, and then once he really got going, Lamar was in and out of the lineup as well. But when I look at this team, I think edge is a huge need, right? You mentioned Justin Houston's a free agent. Calais Campbell, even though he plays on the inside, I think edge is one of their biggest needs. They only had 34 sacks last season, which was 9th fewest in the NFL. Only had one player with more than 5 sacks last season. So edge is a huge need for a team that was really predicated.
I just want to say something, though. I think this is his name. Adafe Owe. Watch out for him. Adafe Owe. I think I'm saying his name right. He's a beast. I like him. Watch out for him, bro.
On defense for the last 20 years.
He cool.
Lamar took over and it kind
the one game that I watched, I think he had 2 sacks. I want to say it was with the Colts. He had a forced fumble and 2 sacks or something like that. It was one game where he went crazy. I feel like it was that Colts game that I was at. Bro, Owe, watch him, bro. Watch him. Trying to tell you.
Show. We mentioned wide receiver as well. And then offensive line. I think Bradley Bozeman is someone they're going to have to bring back. He was the 11th highest graded center according to PFF. Kevin Zeitler was great for them. There was a free agent sign they brought in last year from New York who, for whatever reason, let him go. Ronnie Stanley returning from injury. So I think their offensive line is going to get better. Left guard and right tackle still are question marks. Villanueva was kind of a one-year stopgap, but he didn't play great. He's getting up there in age as well. A couple pieces on the defense, inside linebacker, Burns, he was a last-minute addition, I want to say, in like training camp preseason. He played pretty well for him. He's the expected free agent. Patrick Queen as well, but they don't have much depth there. And then interior defensive line, Calais Campbell's a free agent, don't have much there too. But in terms of surrounding Lamar, they have at least the foundation of the pieces, right? They have Mark Andrews, who came into his own, really solidified himself as one of the best tight ends. Hollywood, who is this year he stepped into top 2 tight ends.
Nah, this year was
because before that Waller was
better.
better.
This year was the
and Kittle
elite production season, but if you watched him, you always knew he could do it.
Yeah, for sure. So there's the weapons question. It's no more, right? I would love for them to bring in 1 or 2 more guys, but you have Bateman and you have Hollywood. You get the running backs back, bring in a couple pieces on the line, bring back Zeitler, or he's signed Bozeman, bring him back, and then the pieces are there. It's time for Lamar to step up, and he's going to. I think they can win the division next year.
3 touchdowns and 6 picks in his last 3 starts versus division opponents.
Lamar?
Yep.
Is that just pass? What about rushing?
Oh, he didn't have a touchdown rushing either in those games.
Sure.
I'll tell you what, this defense definitely does concern me. Now, I know we were talking about weapons. However, defensively, down the stretch of the season, you're being a bully. You are. You're being a bully towards Lamar. I don't appreciate it.
It's just funny because
I feel like a lot of people do that, bro. Yo, it's easy to hate on Lamar, bro. Like, I don't know why. Lamar gets so much of fucking hate, and I don't understand why.
He had like 114
in 3 games.
Yep.
Combined, 114. That's not great.
And okay, first of all,
no, I'm playing,
bro. It was 2 games.
Not talking about
third game.
Last 3 full starts. I didn't count that last game.
I was about to say.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was like 120 yards. In 3
he had a terrible game against Cleveland. That's really what did. He had 4 interceptions.
Yeah, that game was bad.
It was terrible. They still won.
I was gonna say, I do remember that game. However, defensively, down the stretch, they were one of the worst secondaries in the league. They were getting thrown all over, where Joe Burrow had his career day on him, where he threw for over 400 yards.
Yeah, Jamar Chase had like 250-something yards. Oh my God, don't remind me, bro. Don't remind me.
Superman ball for them to be in games if they don't address certain things on the defense.
I think Joe Burrow threw for like 500 yards that game.
Earlier, Marcus Peters, in my opinion, is going to get cut to put them in a position to bring in players to fill the other needs that they have. But that's going to put them at a strong disadvantage in their secondary. I think they can address that in the draft. Joel mentioned edge and interior defensive line. Given the fact that Calais Campbell's a free agent and he's 35, going to be 36 years old, I don't know if he comes back. Maybe if he wants to just try running back one more season, maybe they bring him back, but it should not be on an egregious contract. I understand Calais Campbell is still great. However, I'm not paying him what I think he was getting paid almost $12.5 million, which is still a lot of money, especially for a player at his age. However, I still think that if he's willing to come back on a lower price, of course I'd bring him back. He still has that name. He still has the skill. Not what he once was for sure. However, you take what you can get, especially with a guy like Calais Campbell. Now, offensively,
he's a veteran. I would use him as a veteran.
To the point where weapons-wise, there is no excuse. I can understand wanting to bring in a receiver. I'm still a fan of Hollywood Brown. Had an issues with drops, but it was really 1 to 2 games that I really look at and think, wow, he really folded. And the game was against the Lions that they still ended up winning. That game against the Lions, he dropped 3 touchdowns. That was really bad. But even still,
I remember that.
Hollywood Brown put up a more
Because I think that was that very same game Justin Tucker broke the record for the longest field goal.
Towards the second half of the season, because
I remember
Lamar
that.
wasn't playing, and 2, when Lamar and him were playing, it was just an inconsistent relationship between the two. They just could not get an offense going. Rashad Bateman comes in after missing the first 4 or 5 games of the season, and he showed flashes. I think that Rashad Bateman could be a solid receiver, definitely a good wide receiver 2 option. And you have Mark Andrews, who's one of the best tight ends in the league. J.K. Dobbins coming back. Gus Edwards coming back. J.K. Dobbins gives you that run elusiveness, and he also gives you the ability to dump it off and out the backfield. It's gotten to the point where next season there's no excuse on his name. Because given the fact that he can make plays happen with his legs, the offensive line should not be as much of a concern. Of course, you want to put your quarterback in positions to be in a secure pocket. However, it's not essential when you have a guy like Lamar and the caliber, how great he is, with his legs. I think that his ability to scramble outside the pocket is not a reason. If I'm the organization, I'm looking at to this is my primary focus on offensive line on the tackles. I think defensively they need to improve, and
It's
I think
just
that
so
if
many
a wide
holes
receiver
they
wants to
got.
come in at
And only
a cheaper
$8
price
million
tag,
in cap
sure,
space?
I would do that, but I'm not going out of my way to
Damn,
bring
bro.
one in, given the fact that
Now that I
Mark
think about it, this
Andrews
might be
is
a
elite.
rebuilding year.
Hollywood
Well, not a
Brown is
rebuild
elite,
per se, but
he is a good option. And
we
so is
gonna have
Rashad
to really
Bateman. I think
depend
that
on some
they
young
need to trust these
young
guys.
cats.
I think that Lamar Jackson needs to take another step this season. And I'm not saying that this is a make or break for me on Lamar Jackson in terms of how great he is. I know how great he is. However, if he wants the recognition that he feels he deserves, which to a degree I do agree with him. However,
he got a ball.
You need to get it done.
Yeah,
Because
he
right
got
now
a
I'm
ball.
looking at this team and I'm getting...
Bro, I'm not even denying that. I feel like the only way to get people to stop talking so much of crap, you got a ball, bro. And then listen, I'm a fan of Lamar Jackson. I watched him when he had an episode of The Shop with LeBron James. And he was like, he felt as though that the stereotypical black running quarterback is still very much alive, about how all black quarterbacks do is run the ball. They don't pass the ball. That's all they good for. He still feels like that's still in the league. But I feel like in order for you to remove that from your name and being placed in that stereotypical prototype, you have to ball out, bro. You went 4-2 in 1 year and you got bounced out by the Buffalo Bills. The following year, you didn't make it. It has to be some type of situation where you have to at least get to the AFC Championship. At least, bro. At least. Show some improvement. Take a big step forward. Now, don't get me wrong. The front office is responsible for that. Hollywood Brown got to stop dropping passes. You feel me? We have to keep the offensive line good to the point where we can block for Lamar so he can be able to make these plays. But still, it's all on Lamar Jackson, man. He can pass. I know he can pass the ball. Sometimes he might feel like that he has to run the ball to carry the load, but he does not have to do that, bro. He just have to trust his teammates. You get what I mean? So I really feel like Lamar Jackson has to make some type of improvement. The same way I say Ja Morant made the big improvement for the Memphis Grizzlies this year, how he's backpacking the team and he's being efficient and making all these athletic plays. I know Lamar Jackson can already make the athletic plays. We just need you to get it done. That's it. We just need you to get it done, bro. I have faith in you, Lamar. You can get it done. Just get it done, bro. Get it done. That's it. And then you will shut everybody up, bro. For real. For real.
Concerned. As we stand
I believe
right here, that. March 7th, I believe the date, 2022. I am concerned with this team to the point where it's a strong possibility I see them finishing in last place again. Because if they don't fix this defense, if they don't get things right in the secondary and on the line, it could be ugly for them. And then Lamar Jackson's going to have even more pressure to produce. And if he doesn't produce, they're not going to be looking at the defense, which is right now the obvious hole for them. They're going to be looking at Lamar Jackson because right now they're looking at anything to blame on him.
Lamar went on The Shop.
I want to watch that episode.
I have yet to watch it, by the way, but I'm going to
What
watch it.
I'm trying to
I
tell
saw
you,
some
bro.
clips, though, and I saw some quotes from it. And I guess I can just infer.
All right, we're going to listen to his part a little bit, and then we're going to end the video. I don't want to make this video too long.
Most of it
it's
was
already
him
long as it
talking
is.
about the expectations of him, the narratives on him that he's crushed, by the way. And we know Lamar has already drove past all those dumb biases that were already put up against him. But the reality of what he's been in 3 of his 4 playoff games, he hasn't performed to the best of his level.
I think he's only played 3. Oh, no, excuse me. I apologize. His rookie season against the Chargers.
We've seen before that we just saw it this year with the Bengals. You can have an average defense, but if your offense is great, you can win a lot of games.
I wouldn't say their defense was average.
They played very well.
Yeah.
The defense was average, though.
I don't think so.
Statistically, but
They
in
were
the
one of the,
playoffs,
they were one of the better
fantastic.
rush defense for sure. They were top 10 rush defense.
They were a great rush defense, but then the pass defense was one of the
Yeah,
bottom
it
ones.
was terrible.
Was it bottom?
That's why it's average. They can't.
You
Their
give
whole line
Jamar
was
Chase
awesome.
250-something
So,
yards
what I'm
rushing?
saying
Yeah,
is that
you're terrible.
I think
You're terrible.
the Ravens should go
Sorry.
offensive line. They should focus on the offensive line this offseason. Bradley Bozeman, I don't know if he comes back. If they lose him, that would be a huge loss. But where they're at the draft right now, I think Tyler Linderbaum is a possibility. And even if they don't lose Bradley Bozeman, to bring in Linderbaum to play golf.
All right. I don't want to make this video too long, but I definitely agree with what he's saying. I do think that we need to work on the offensive line. I definitely do. I just want to get Lamar Jackson to a point again where he doesn't feel like that he has. Because I feel like sometimes Lamar Jackson doesn't trust his teammates and he says, fuck it, let me go ahead and try to make something happen. And that's where it gets a little dicey. You get what I mean? And that's just from the games that I've seen. Like, if we could just get him to the point where he's just comfortable with just running an offense, I think we'll be fine. But thank you guys for watching, for tuning in. If you guys want to see me react to the rest of this video, please give me about 5 likes. 5 likes, I'll react to the rest of this video. That lets me know that you guys like the content. But I love you guys. I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Peace!